They're a family full of laughter and love, but a family with a missing piece.
She had the best smile. When she would laugh, it was contagious. It would light up the whole room.
Wait. Wait.
It's a loud world we live in. Noise constantly everywhere.
I call myself a red diaper baby.
Marxism and propaganda.
That America was the enemy of the human race and it was our duty to destroy America.
It was all he knew.
I grew up in a communist household.
At the age of 8, Ismael Hernandez was selling communist propaganda on the streets of Puerto Rico.
I want a water, please. Just one water.
So right now what we do is distribute fresh drinking water into the communities.
There was over 20-foot surges, and many Grand Bahamians, as I said, have lost their life.
It was just dancing all over the place. So it was very unpredictable.
They lost everything, lose everything, houses.
3 people.
Sí.
I thought it was easy.
With 3 stories. And 1 dream.
My dream, it was strong, like I'm at my faith.
When things went terribly wrong.
Made the worst decision of my life and decided to smoke that night, whatever was being smoked, and didn't realize what it was. And 48 hours later from that point, I was in the hospital.
He'd spend the next 2.5 months recovering in the hospital. Doctors never determined what caused Colin's reaction.
It's crazy to think about because my life was almost taken from me, and I was in ICU for 9 days. I was in a catatonic coma. When I came out of my coma, I was in a baby state, reborn mentally.
Sometimes I'll see a picture of myself and I go, whoa.
It's kind of itchy sometimes.
Dave Lacko's grown his goatee just 5 months and admits he can't go 5 minutes without playing with it.
I mean, feel it. Feel it.
I did.
Soft, ain't it?
It was like a Brillo pad.
Oh, it's all in your head, blah, 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 blah.
2 women.
It's all in your head. That's kind of what a lot of women, I think, get.
With 2 different lifestyles.
What's wrong?
Yes, there is definitely something wrong. We don't know why.
Sharing 2 similar stories.
It's kind of an invisible illness.
I fall asleep and I can't concentrate.
It feels like I'm powering down, like a device that's lost battery.
I mean, I guess I am overreacting, but I'm not doing it because I want to be difficult. It's actually like painful.
Powering down and I just literally just crash.
We're starting to get some calls that people are noticing mosquitoes.
Rain is coming.
Okay, we're ready for you.
And with it, mosquitoes.
This time of year, this is where it really kicks off.
Which means something else is in the sky too. Lee County mosquito control helicopters are loading up with natural ways to kill mosquitoes before they grow up.
If you spend enough time around Lee County, you might hear of him.
He was an awesome guy. He's super friendly. He'll let anyone, as far as I know, pet him.
You might even see him.
He had him on a rope and just walked around town.
But you may not believe your eyes when you finally comprehend what you're seeing.
He's Lee County's goat guy.
That's right, Lee County's goat guy.
Let's go, babies.
Those are his babies.
We first learned of him when a picture was sent to the NBC2 newsroom, so we decided to go find him.
Goats are pretty cool.
And believe me, we had some questions.
This was not something I planned.
But he happened to be helping a friend on a farm when a mama goat went into labor.
Well, Corey mushrooms imprinted on me.
Along the coast of Florida, both the east and the west, Lake Okeechobee gets a pretty bad rap. So we came out to the lake to take a look at it.
The lake will sort of take care of itself if humans sort of stay out of it.
Find the smallest flower in a field.
It's our job to leave the place better than we found it.
That flower needs the same fuel as your family.
And some of us aren't doing that good a job.
How can something sizzling in the sky 93 million miles away be the most important source of energy for life on Earth?
This was cool, but it didn't quite make it.
Just ask this guy.
Southwest Florida roads.
That sign there means no U-turn.
Like the back of his hand.
The root of the problem here in Southwest Florida is people treat traffic laws like suggestion.
I thought the coolest job would be a pet store helper.
Sapphire Gibson thought she had her whole life figured out when she was a kid. She was a musician and...
I thought like feeding hamsters and fish is the best job in the world.
But that dream has changed.
I can be a doctor, I could be a teacher.
Time and time again.
For a while, a small part of my life, I thought I wanted to go into the military.
Eventually leading her here.
I'm actually going to FGCU for exercise science, so nutrition will be my major.
In the fall, Sapphire will start classes at Florida Gulf Coast University.
I was walking the other day and just looking on the side of the road after the storm,
and it's a body just laying down on the side of the road.
You can smell the bodies in the air, but they're underneath these houses, and sometimes it's not even the person from that house. It came from wherever.
Yeah, and then there's 2 more coffins sitting up through the trees. Now, I don't know if the body came out, because, you know, after I see that, you know, I just keep on moving, because the scent coming out, so safety first.
Yeah, there's a body here. You can smell it inside there.
My house still up here, at least. The house was my house, so I came up to get some, you know, personal stuff, you know, and see my friend, you know, and stuff, and, you know, and could get some supply, man, you know, we need water and stuff.
It's strange living in a place when 5 months in the year, you know, your whole life can be wiped out.
Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. The power of a storm surge.
Well, I done set my mind maybe for 2 years from here, man.
Wow.
There's nothing left.
This is going to take 20, 30 years to recover. I'm talking about the
This will
reef,
probably
all
never
this shit.
recover
No,
into
it
here.
won't.
I don't see it happening. I mean, these people don't have insurance. They have
No.
nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing left of an infrastructure.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
I think this place will come back, you know, but they need a lot of work, a lot of help, you know, and we just got to stay strong. Just got to stay strong.
Desperate for freedom.
I came in a boat with 20 other Cubans.
A 90-mile trek in the deep waters of the Atlantic.
About 30 hours at sea.
From Cuba to Key West on a 20-foot boat called the Bellatrix.
Very bad conditions. We had waves of 15, 20 feet, sharks surrounding the boat all the time.
It's a journey engraved in Enrique Padron's head.
When you're in a boat with so many people in a reduced space, you're thinking on trying to survive yourself.
But one he says he would do over and over.
I prefer to die eaten by a shark than being returned to Cuba.
In his homeland, Padron lived a life of severe poverty.
Their floor, a bathroom shared with another 6 families.
Under a dictatorship.
No se puede hablar de paz.
The Fidel Castro regime.
Living under communism is like living in a big jail.
Cuba, the 119-mile cage. Padron knew there was more to life.
I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was not in Cuba. Tierra, tierra.
Land.
And I was so excited that I wanted to jump out of the boat to swing to the shore.
That would offer him opportunities he didn't know existed.
I didn't know that an American dream existed.
His luck turned when they spotted fishermen headed out of Key West.
They told us, "Welcome to the United States, bienvenidos a los Estados Unidos." And I started crying. Because that was my dream, living in freedom. I'm sorry.
The moment his feet touched the ground, he didn't look back.
This is the best country on the face of the earth. Only in the United States of America, a Cuban rafter escaping from a communist country can have these opportunities.
In escaping his country, he had to leave his mother and brothers behind.
Here we go. Oh my God.
At Kate's Cuts in Bonita Springs, owner Kate Owens wants each person that comes to her salon to be transformed.
I have that ability to make them feel good about themselves again.
But in her decades as a hairdresser, the most rewarding transformations haven't come in the form of fancy blowouts.
What?
They've come from finicky boys like Jackson Sullen.
4, 5.
Jackson has autism. So does Victor.
He is awesome.
And so does Connor.
Did you say hi to Connor?
A haircut for each of them was once a stylist's equivalent to pulling teeth.
10. Ow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How long it took Jackson to have his first haircut here was 2 hours.
It took me a long time to find somebody that had the patience.
We've dealt with being thrown out of salons, asked to leave because he wouldn't sit still, asked to leave because he was being too loud.
Unacceptable behavior, Kate thought, for the salon.
Let me see you.
She never wanted a parent or child to feel that way here.
They have a lot of worry. They have a lot of worry. These roads of special needs are tough to navigate.
Kate knows because she's also on that road.
My youngest son, I have 5 boys, and my youngest son, Waylon, was diagnosed with autism 2 years ago.
He's the reason why every cut for a kid with autism here is now free.
Almost done.
You don't want them to have to worry about affording a haircut.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if we can do that and it just takes a little of our time and creates a victory for them, that's what I want for them.
Staff have embraced the mission fully, whether it's by offering a trim or simply a hand to hold.
This, I get something like my heart just gets full.
Stylist Michelle Tamburino began cutting Victor's hair last year. No cut or color could have prepared her for the reward.
I tell parents, I'm gonna start crying, that once I cut their kid's hair, their kid becomes my kid too. So just to see them, all of my kids, just thriving and doing well and having a place they can come to that's not scary, that's why I do it.
Even if girls are nervous, they're still all in. And I can really see their heart, and I'm extremely proud of my staff.
Good hairstylists might see beauty after a transformation.
My staff has a heart for service. And you just finished your haircut.
Great ones can love and accept what's already there.
Yes, look how good you look.
In Bonita
You are
Springs,
so handsome.
Sean Martinelli, NBC2.
What do you see?
To witness the majesty of our nation's capital on a fall day like this is easy. Still, for some, there are sights that will always remain hard.
Who is on 51? Which one is that? Hamsmith, okay.
This is a trip Vietnam veteran Greg Harris of Naples needed to make now.
You know, nobody knows when you're going to die. I believe I'm going to live forever. But the average person with my disease will probably live another 3 years. It's been a great life.
Whether or not he beats cancer, Greg is reminded that he is a survivor. The more than 50,000 Americans whose names grace this wall were not.
Right here. Honey, right there. Want to touch it?
First, a tribute to a fellow member of the 101st Airborne Division.
You don't want to etch him?
No.
Where's that hanky?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah. Was a very, very difficult passing.
Yep.
For him. 4 months before we left to come back home. And he laid in the middle of a rice paddy for about 4 hours, holding his arm up to try to, but the gunfire was just too, nobody could get to him. And I don't want to even remember it.